Hey everybody, welcome back to Cherry Hill Farm. We are in the midst of pumpkin harvest, but overall we're winding down for the year here on the farm. We've got a little bit of spaghetti and butternut, actually quite a bit of butternut. Our cooler is full of winter squash, and our parking lot is full of pumpkins. And we've still got 50 or so bins of pumpkins to pick in the field. Thankful for this crop of pumpkins, picking some really nice ones, as you've seen in other videos, hopefully. Really good quality pumpkins, and an abundance of them. Tickled to death with that. But like I said, we're winding down for the year, and now it's time to start getting the plastic up. So I've got my Reddick plastic mulch layer or lifter hooked up, and I have got my rig that I came up with a few years back. I got a video about it when I figured this out for the first time, called Game Changer for Lifting Plastic Mulch. See that I have a bung, it's not tight. If you don't carry a tiny pair of pliers in your pocket, you're missing out. But what I do here is I just run log chains across the frame of this plastic lifter, and it gives a kind of a saddle for these barrels to fit in. Then I fill these up with water, and that gives me, well, that one's 30 gallons, but if it were 100 gallons, it'd be 800 pounds of weight on the back. So we got, I don't know, 600-700 pounds of weight back here. And that is a big deal for trying to get this plastic up. All of our spaghetti, butternut, acorn, and red curry that was on plastic mulch over here on the back side of the farm, it is all 100% picked up. And so we're gonna go get that plastic up. Now for this field, we're really growing up with weeds bad in the plastic. I would hit it with some Gramoxone, and I normally would hit it with some Gramoxone anyway, and then wait a week and lift plastic. But I am running short on time to get this done, and they don't usually have too much trouble if it's just squash vines, because you can see the old squash vines are dead. There's a little bit of new growth that's been put on, but this mulch lifter will cut these vines pretty easily, and it lifts it, jerks the plant out of the ground. It really is not that big a deal, as long as it's not just crawling with morning glories, or if it was grown up with a lot of lamb's quarters or something, we would definitely need to get it sprayed and let that stuff die. But when it's just squash vines, it's not that difficult for them to get the plastic up. So get started and see if we can get a couple blocks of this up. This plastic mulch is, this particular field had spaghetti squash in it, as you can see, and I know it looks like all the spaghetti squash are still here, but believe it or not, we picked countless bins out of this field. These are just the culls. The people we sell to have really high standards, and it's because consumers have really high standards, unfortunately. And grocery stores want everything in the store to look exactly the same. So, sad reality of wholesale produce business is fields look like this at the end of the year. Honestly, off the top of my head, I can't tell you how many bins were picked out of here, but I'm gonna say 25 or so off these 8 rows that are 350 foot long. 25 times 20, so that's about 500 boxes of squash that was picked off of this 8 rows, 350 foot long. So what's left is a small percentage of what was here. But the way that this piece of equipment works is it has what's called coulters on the front that slice through the vines and slice through the hard dirt, and in the back it's got these arms that stick down, shanks, and attached to the shank is much like a plow blade that runs back here, and it's got fingers on the back that just pick the plastic up. So after you run through, what you're left with is I got it throwing some dirt up. You kind of have to get it started, but once you get it started, this white plastic is 1.25 mil, which means it is 1 1/4 thousandth of an inch thick. So that's pretty thin, but that's actually fairly heavy for plastic mulch. It's kind of difficult to do one-handed, but once you get it going, you can kind of flip it to the side, and all the dirt and the plant residue, if you've got 2 hands to work with, flips right off of it, just like this. And the guys just go down the field flipping the plastic and getting it up. Then they will reach down in here and get the drip tape and pull it up. We bury our drip tape really deep so that we don't hit it with the planter. I highly recommend that, because it's a nightmare if you ever get into the drip tape with your planter. It pretty much ruins the field. So the way this plastic mulch is laid, you can go, I've got several videos on it, but right here's a good representation. There's actually, as rain has washed a lot of the dirt off in this particular spot, but the plastic layer builds the bed, and then the covering disc flip this dirt up on the side of it. So what we're trying to do with that piece of equipment is just cut underneath this side right here, and then the fingers cause the dirt to fall off, ideally, so that you're left with the plastic just laying on top of the bed like this, so that it can be easily picked up. And that's pretty much all there is to it. That and a lot of manual labor. An acre of plastic lifted here. I'm gonna go home and eat some steak with my lovely bride for our 14-year anniversary. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Hey, if anybody's interested in a produce conveyor like this one right here that you've seen in videos of mine, hit me up. I will get you fixed up. It is a variable speed right here, so you got forward, reverse, on, off, and variable speed. So shoot me a message, Cherry Hill Farm LLC on Facebook. Works out really good. Just not the direction that we're going anymore with our farm, so we're trying to cut back on some equipment.